The fatal trust. A lion's downfall in the savanna. The African savanna looks peaceful from a distance, a golden expanse under the vast sky. But peace in the wild is an illusion. Every move is observed, every sound measured. Survival here belongs not to the strongest, but to the most aware. Awareness begins with knowing who you can never truly trust. For 4 seasons, Kavari ruled this land, maintaining balance with his experienced hunting pair. The territory was once generous, but the savanna is ruled by unforgiving cycles. That year, the rains stopped coming early, and the dust stayed, turning the grass brittle. The vital zebra herds moved north, followed closely by the wildebeest. Hunting now meant traveling farther, and travel in desperation always attracts watchers. Hyenas were always the first to arrive, not out of bravery, but because they are relentlessly patient. They observed everything without challenging, an insult that ignited Kavari's rage. Kavari chased them relentlessly, but each time they fled, laughing, they always returned. Then, one night, something shifted. A single hyena stood openly, without his pack. No laughter, no sudden moves, just unnerving stillness from the scarred, solitary creature. When Kavari charged, the hyena did not bolt. He stepped back slowly with eyes lowered. It was a gesture of submission, yet it held an unnerving air of confidence. Kavari stopped instantly. That pause lasted seconds, but seconds are dangerous in the wild. From that night on, the hyena appeared often, always alone, and always downwind. This hyena understood the wind better than any predator Kavari had ever known. He never approached the cubs or interrupted their feeding times. He remained a distant observer. Days passed, and hunts became harder, making the pride irritable and the lionesses leaner. Kavari watched the hyena watching him, yet there was still no theft, still no direct challenge. Slowly, without realizing it, Kavari stopped reacting to the constant, silent surveillance. The danger wasn't that the lion trusted the hyena. The danger was that he stopped seeing him at all. The first kill that changed everything came late that night. A lone, weakened wildebeest. Kavari clamps down on the throat, strength burning through his exhausted muscles to secure the kill. The pride fed hard, bones cracking loudly in the silence of the night. When they finished, Kavari did something no lion should ever do. He stepped aside. The hyena waited patiently, not advancing, not rushing, just waiting for his moment. Minutes passed in silence until finally the hyena approached, feeding quickly and nervously. No growl came from Kavari. That moment rewrote a rule older than memory itself. Hyenas are not grateful animals, they are adaptive ones, carrying away more than just food that night. He carried vital intelligence, the paths the lions used, their hunting times, and Kavari's habits. Crucially, he documented the precise location where the vulnerable cubs slept each night. Hyenas do not need brute strength when they have mastered the patterns of their prey. The next hunt failed, and the one after that. Frustration began to set in among the pride. Then, Kavari returned to find nothing where a carcass should have been, only clean, picked bones. The bones were picked too fast for vultures. The wind carried distant, mocking laughter. Kavari chased the sound away, but the ground told a different story. More tracks than before. The lone hyena did not appear the next day. That absence mattered more than his presence ever had. Because absence meant planning, the scout was reporting back to the main force. 2 nights later, the pride made another kill, but Kavari stayed intensely alert. But hunger dulls even the sharpest instincts of a king, and at dawn, the carcass was gone. Hyena tracks circled the area, not random, but organized, like a military map. Kavari roared a deep warning intended to carry for miles across the dry plains. The reply came immediately. Laughter, closer than it had ever been before. The lionesses began instinctively pushing the vulnerable cubs farther into the thickest cover available. Kavari felt the primal instinct screaming, but pride carries weight, demanding a defense of authority. Admitting a mistake costs more than pain. It costs the very authority he held over his domain. That night, the lone hyena returned exactly where he always stood, quiet and watching. And Kavari did not attack. He simply watched the familiar shape of the observer. That inaction was the moment the outcome of the drought, the territory, and the pride became inevitable, because the hyena was never truly a friend seeking mercy or sustenance. He was a scout, meticulously gathering all necessary patterns for the attack. And scouts do not survive alone for long unless the entire army is already moving into position. The fatal flaw was not weakness, but the moment trust replaced awareness. The cycles of the savanna demand constant vigilance, especially when the king falters. The power that ruled for 4 seasons was now being dismantled by calculated observation. The illusion of peace was broken. The trust was fatal, and the price would be everything they had built.